Hello everyone. I just wanted to show how to do a simple model send from Maya LT into Dota 2 using the new tools that are available, specific for the Steam Workshop. And I don't know if you've ever kind of tinkered around in the workshop and maybe you've wanted to make an item to bring into Dota 2. And now Maya LT comes pre-equipped with some really cool tools to do exactly that job. And yeah, it's really fun and easy, and I just wanted to show you how exactly it works. Okay, so what I have here is a model that is brought in from the Dota 2 technical requirements page, and I've gone ahead and grabbed my model that I want to import, and I've got him sitting here in the scene. And what I want to do now is simply bind it to the bone. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into my layers, and I have the rig set to a specific layer to make it easier to grab the bone and to grab the sword itself. So I just turn off my sword, select my bone, turn on my sword, and select my sword. The next thing you'll want to do is go Skin, Smooth Bind, and select the little option. So you'll just click on that. That'll bring up this options window. Under here, where it says Bind To, you're going to want to make sure that this is set to selected joints. By standard, it will go by joint hierarchy. You need to set it to selected joints. That'll ensure that it's fully bound to this bone. So that's all you really have to do. Hit apply, hit close, and now you should find that your bone is selected and it moves with your object. So now what we'll want to do is go ahead and make a nice new texture for this so that we have something that will go ahead and send over to the Dota 2 game engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my object, and under polygons and under materials you then have a new icon here called the Dota 2 material. So we're just going to go ahead and select it. If you go all the way to the right on your attribute editor and select your shader effects shader 6, or whatever your shader is going to be called, you can rename that. So I'm going to name mine Dota 2 shader sword. Okay, and in here you'll find that you have all of the needed maps for importing into Dota. I've already gone ahead and loaded all these textures up, so I'm just going to go ahead and load that into position. So here it is with all the textures loaded into place, and you'll see that it actually is a very good representation of what it'll look like in Dota 2. There's a couple things that you're going to want to know. I found that if you just level all these to 1, you just kind of get a better overall view. So if it's coming a little dark, you might want to just tinker around in here and play with all your different values to see if you can get a little bit more of a realistic representation. But that's kind of tinkering if you'd like to. It doesn't affect how it transfers. It only affects how it's presented here. So you can kind of adjust the way that the viewport will see it. So Beto color, that one you're just going to want to set to your color map. Your normal map you will want to set to your normal map. Mask map 1 you will want to set to your mask 1 map. And your mask map 2 you will want to set to your mask 2. Now it is important that you make sure all of these are selected and turned on. And it is also important that you have them all named underscore color, underscore normal, and underscore mask 1 and underscore mask 2. The details of this information can be found on the technical requirements page of Dota 2, and you should look at that before trying to send to Dota, because this does have to follow the Dota 2 texture requirements. So it is basically just going to send these files over to Dota 2, and that's what it's going to be. So just make sure that these are following the correct way that Dota 2 would want them. Okay, let's just keep moving on. And let's actually send this to Dota 2. So we've got our textures in place. We have our model bound to the bone. And now what we want to do is just simply send it out. So we're just going to select our object. We're going to go ahead and hit Steam Workshop and say to launch the Dota 2 Workshop. Once inside of Dota 2, what you're going to want to do is press this Publish New Submissions button. That'll bring you to this page. You will want to click the item that is the most correct to what you are importing. In my case, it's a wearable item, so I'm going to go ahead and select wearable item, and I'm just going to minimize this for now. Now what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to actually export my model. So I'm going to go ahead and select my object, and I'm going to go Steam Workshop, Export to Dota2 Workshop. What that's going to do is bring up this dialog. In my case, I'm transferring a wearable item, and we're going to go ahead and give it a name. In my case, I'm going to call it Omni Knight Sword, and it's best to keep it with no spaces or special characters in the name. Under the hero, I'm going to go ahead and select Omni Knight, and under the slot, I'm going to go ahead and select Weapon. Now all I have to do is select my object itself and press the in-game button. The other important thing to do is set your export path. So let's go ahead and select the folder. And what we're going to want to do is choose a folder that'll be easy to work with. So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and use this folder that I created on my desktop called Test Export. And I'm going to go choose. Once that's complete, all I have to do is press the export button. This dialog box will come up. You can most likely ignore most of the errors in here. If you actually get to this warnings and errors page, that's pretty much a confirmation of being successful. Press close, and now switch over to the Dota 2 game. So now all you have to do is press this little folder button on the bottom right, and it will automatically populate with your file name, your hero, your weapon slot, and all of the necessary models and textures that you will need. If you're interested, you can put your marketing materials in here. All you're going to do now is hit the import button. And voila, everything imports successfully. You hit OK, and there is your item in game. If you would like to change your previews, you can go ahead and do so. You can go to nighttime or daytime or portrait. Not that we have a reason for a portrait for our view, but you can. And lastly, you can actually do the in-game preview, which is always my favorite, where you can actually jump in and kind of see how it runs in-game. So I'm just going to go into here and say Omni Knight, because that's the model that I created my item for. It'll show the original items. That's okay. It won't in game, so you're just going to go ahead and hit play, and here we are. And zooming in, if you press this little zoom to character icon, you can get nice views inside. So here we are with my sword in place. I can go ahead and grab a spell if I'd like, and I can go ahead and use it. And there we have it. So that's pretty much it. We've gone ahead and imported an object over using the new tools in Maya LT. It was super fast and super painless. And the best thing about all this is that now you can go ahead and edit your textures. If you have any anomalies or anything, you can edit it very quickly just by changing your textures, pressing the export button, pressing the import button, and bringing it right back in again. Anyhow, I hope this was all good, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and that's it. Bye-bye for now.